Sometimes when I'm having conversations with people, I let them know that I am, in fact, a flat earther. And it's always so funny because the reactions are always like, ooh, oh, you're one of those? Oh, okay. And again, I just think it's so funny because people look at you like you're stupid. But really, this language is code for people who believe in God versus those who don't. So, I'm going to be talking about why I'm a flat earther in the religion of science. When people hear science is a religion, I feel like that's obviously jarring to some people. It's certainly not common knowledge. How do I know that science is a religion? Well, science is a belief system. Science is based on the fact that you're assuming that observable reality is the ultimate truth. Science says, here's this one thing that I observe, and because I observe this, it makes it true. And I can prove this is true based on other observable truths. It then becomes a belief system because it says, if this thing is true, then that makes this other thing true. And when you put these two truths together, you get another truth. So that's why it's a belief system, because it expounds on multiple beliefs with the assumption that these things are true. And these beliefs are all connected and dependent on each other. However, if you believe in God, then the only real truth you acknowledge is that God exists. Because in reality, as humans, it is nearly impossible to perceive truth. Just because you're observing something in reality does not mean that it is the ultimate truth. Humans are actually incapable of observing reality. We do not perceive reality, we perceive our perception. So, the reason why I'm quote unquote a flat earther simply is because I believe in God. Before people believed in God, they believed in the sun and the moon. Because in their observable reality, the sun and the moon were the only two entities that humans could observe as being above them. So they associated this as being like God, as the sun and the moon supersedes humans and they have its own will. So that idea evolved into what we would come to understand as our world revolving around the sun. But then there were a group of people who began to understand that there had to be a force that created the sun and the moon, which supersedes their power. Those people could be regarded as the chosen people of God because no other people at the time had this level of consciousness to understand that there can only be one all-powerful God. If you're listening to this and it doesn't make sense, it's likely because you've been conditioned to be cognitively dissonant. In today's world, the average person holds so many conflicting beliefs because there are so many conflicting truths. Many people believe in God some and believe in science some. The problem with that is that these are two conflicting belief systems. The entire basis of science is to prove that God doesn't really exist. It's important to understand that the term flat earth actually has nothing to do with earth and everything to do with what's above. This term was created to mock people who believe in God because, again, we know that the earth is not flat. There are clearly dimensions here. What we're really talking about is so much bigger than the earth itself.